Hey everyone, it's Dan Charles with Lite Forex. It is Tuesday, August the 11th. We're going to break down the Forex pairs, starting with the Australian USD. Please subscribe to the channel and go to the link in the description below this video. All right, let's take a look here and see how things are looking. I see more downside on the Australian USD. It's overextended on the monthly. We've had 4 massive bullish months and putting in lower highs. I see more downside. This is a very, very bearish candle. Support is going to be 71. See if it can hold 71. But yeah, I see more downside. It's really setting up. You can see on the 240 here. We're really setting up to break down, putting in these lower highs. So I see this going lower, taking out these lows. There's that 71 price, very important support level. Yeah, I'm going to be bearish on the Australian USD. Now, if we're looking at the 60, very short term, we might get a bounce. We might get that bounce. But I do see more downside coming for the Australian USD. Let's take a quick peek at the futures. Yeah, the futures are really lining up identical with the Forex pair. Yeah, just bearish candle. We open. Bulls try to drive it back up, just like yesterday. The bears drive it back down. Momentum all to the downside. And we're overextended. We're due for a red week, if you will. So look for more downside on the Australian USD. Same thing with the Euro USD. Euro USD, look at the way the monthly chart's lining up. You just had this massive move in July. We tried to push higher. You can see that resistance at 1.18. And now it looks like we're going to come down. I see more downside on the Euro USD as well. Very bearish candle, just like the Australian USD. Bulls were trying to drive it back up. Bears took over, drove it down. 1.17 is going to be the support to hold. I see it breaking that. I see more downside on the Euro USD. If we look at the Euro futures, you can see similar type scenario. We came up, we came down, resistance at 1.18, support at 1.17. Yeah, I see more downside on the Euro USD as well. Pound USD. Pound USD. Now yesterday it was looking like we could get that rally. A continuation. We put in a higher low and we did come up, but just like the other pairs we just looked at, we open. Bulls were driving price up. Bears take over, drive it back down. You can see that resistance off of 1.31. 1.30 is going to be the very important support price. I look at the weekly. I'd be surprised if this doesn't come down. It's just, it's overextended. Same on the monthly. So look for the pound USD to go bearish for tomorrow. Pound futures, you can really just see how we're overextended, putting in lower highs on that weekly chart. And just this gap from where the moving average is to where price is. So similar scenario, this is going to come down. It's going to take out, or at least test 1.3 thousand. We'll see if it can hold, but I definitely see it coming down. And I'd be very surprised if these pairs we're looking at, including the New Zealand USD, do not pull back tomorrow. I've been bearish all this week on the New Zealand as well. You just look at that monthly chart, and you just see that we're putting in lower highs. If you look at the long term, you can just see here on the monthly charts, putting in that lower high. This should come down, and I see it going lower. Support is going to be at 65, but we can look at 65.50 as well. similar type candle, or the same type candle. Bulls were in control, they drove it up. Bears took over, drove it back down. Look for this to come down in the next couple days. The futures chart is pretty much going to say the same thing. You can see we're putting in lower highs in the last couple weeks. Overextended on the monthly. Just like we were here. Just like we were here, going back quite a bit. Now, are we going to pull all the way back and continue and make a new low on the New Zealand? It's too early to tell. I'm short term. I'm bearish short term. So let's see if it can hold 65.50, and then we'll look at the next level support, which is 6,500. But yeah, I see more downside here. USD Canadian Dollar. Okay, so you can see the USD Canadian Dollar was down quite a bit. We were down here at the lows today, and that low was 1.3271, but we've clawed back, pulling back up. That's very, very key, because if we're holding this trend line, these higher lows, if we get a break tomorrow like this, and we take out this 3,400 resistance, then you got to be bullish on the USD CAD. So we'll see if that type of scenario plays out. That's what I would be looking for, a breakout tomorrow. Then I'd be a buyer on the USD Canadian Dollar. If we go to the Canadian Dollar, we're going to see an opposite look here. We're going to see that clearly this was bullish all day, and then end of day it did pull back quite a bit. Now looking at the 60, after this big pullback, this does look like we could get a bounce on the Canadian dollar, which of course would send the USD CAD going lower. This one's really a wait and see for me, the USD Canadian dollar. I want to see how it sets up, and then I'd be looking more at a Thursday, Friday entry once I see what happens tomorrow. So we'll see how that plays out, but right now it is pulling back, and we'll see how that plays out. I do see that rebound though on the 60. Yeah, so let's take a look at that in the coming days. All right, lastly, USD Yen. USD Yen, I really thought this was the bottoming out price. So when it broke out, showing some resistance, pulled back. I talked about the support at 105.50. We were in this little range here though. We finally broke out of that range today. And we took out, of course, 106. And we're just below 106.5. We're at 106.51 right now. The pattern really is this pulling back. So going forward, it definitely needs to hold support at 106. If we're looking at the other time frames, yeah, you got to be more bullish on this. But the pattern, breakout, pullback, breakout, pullback. Let's see if it can actually hold this 106.20 price. That would be where I would want to see hold if it pulls back. If it breaks below that, I think we're coming down more. But if we pull back and then we start turning around, I would be confident to buy in that case scenario. Let's see what the yen futures are doing. Of course, it's going to look just the opposite. Let's take a look here. Okay, so you can see things are really turning around. End of day on the 240 and the 60. Yeah, so we did break down through this 94.0094,000 price. So that is important to note. But just the same thing how the pattern is with the USD yen to the upside and a potential pullback. This looks to me like this could come up. So yeah, this what was support 0094,000, that's going to be resistance. Let's see if it can hold that price and continue this downtrend. But it does look like we should get an early bounce though. We're getting that bounce as we speak right now. So look for that. Yeah, that's basically how I see these pairs, and that's going to be how I'm going to be making my trades in the coming days. So please subscribe to the channel. Go to Lite Forex in the link below. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.